welcome. Today I will be showing you how I do my calendar blocking and how I keep myself organized. If you enjoy this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Okay, let's get right into it. First I want to mention I have been trying to organize myself and learning about calendar blocking and productivity for I think 3 years now. So I've tried several things to see what works for me. I've also learned from quite a lot of people. I've taken advice from people like Emil Endino, Dan Locke, Chris Evans and Taylor Welch, who run Traffic and Funnels. Then also Igor Lidachowski, who is a really amazing hypnotist, and many others. So I've just taken what other people teach and basically put it together in a way that works for me. Okay, first of all, let me go over what didn't work. It's just really important for you that you try and just experiment a bit with it, because every person is different. And I really do best with these kind of bullet journals, which I will explain in detail in a bit. But yeah, bullet journals are best for me. But of course, there's also digital versions like Google Calendar, or there are these pre-made calendars like this one. Yeah, there's really no way around it. You just have to try a bit for yourself what works for you. For me, it was like this. Last year, I pretty much all year used my old bullet journal. But towards the end of the year, for some reason, I switched to a Google Calendar. And the Google Calendar really didn't work for me. It's just, I need my space where I take my little notes and write down things that happened during the day. And a digital calendar just didn't give me this freedom. So that didn't work for me. And then at the beginning of this year, I tried this one. This is like a pre-made calendar. I will show you what's inside. And it's really it's super beautiful. But it didn't fully work for me, especially the weekly planning. As you can see, this was in May, and I already I hardly wrote anything down except meeting one friend. So as you can see, it's just the space didn't really work for me. Also, this book is really heavy. Even though it's so beautiful, it was just not something I carry around with me, unfortunately. But what did really work really well was that this book offers to reflect on your weeks, also set intentions for the next weeks. And that really worked well for me, and that's something I will keep implementing. More on that in a bit. Really what worked best for me so far are these bullet journals. And if you have no idea what a bullet journal is, basically it's just an empty journal, and all they have is these tiny dots. And what this does, it allows you to create your own calendar. Or your own, doesn't even have to be a calendar, it could be a photo album or a diary really. So it's really just allows you to be creative. So for example, this one was my bullet journal that I used last year. And just to give you an overview, I just filled it with what I like and what worked for me. Okay, now if you decide to use a bullet journal, how can you actually make this work? First of all, I would recommend teaching yourself about productivity. Get a basic idea how you can maximize your own productivity in a way that is fulfilling. So what again worked really well for me is having yearly goals. You can't really organize yourself and track if you're on track if you don't have goals. It's kind of obvious, but it's something that many people miss. Every year in December, I get clear on what I want to achieve next year. And of course, goals can change. Maybe during the year you notice you don't want it anymore. But really the important thing is set your goals. Even if they change during the year, that's okay, but have something you work towards. And when you have your yearly goals finished, then you kind of start assigning steps to every month. So let me give you an example. Let's say by next year I want to lose 10 kilograms. Then I could say, okay, if I want to lose 10 kilograms in a year, that means I approximately need to lose 1 every month. So for every month, my goal is to lose 1 kilogram. And then I would have to think, okay, what do I need to do every week to achieve this monthly goal? And then from the week, I can be, what do I need to do every day to reach my weekly goal? And that way, you have this one big goal, but you really make it easy for you to achieve it because you just do the tiny thing every day. That's the basic idea I follow. To really have one single step every day that moves me to this goal I have. You can do this for your income, you can do this for your personal goals, everything really. So have a goal and just spread them out into every month. The cool thing is, when you are in December, it's enough to know your yearly goals, and to approximately know maybe what's in the first half of the year and what's in the second half of the year. So you don't have to like plan every week of the year in December. That would be a bit overwhelming, I think. Don't get stressed. Here's how I do it. So this journal I started this month actually, and the first thing I do is having my monthly spread. So that's this one. So for me, I like to have a beautiful journal. So I write down in kind of nice font the name of the month, and underneath the name I have usually it's 3 or maximum 4 goals that I want to achieve this month. And of course these 3 goals, they add up to my yearly goals. So don't invent random goals, but rather make them fit your yearly goal. For example, for me, it's in September, I want to get 1 new client minimum, start my own blog, and get back into bullet journaling. So definitely on track on the last one, yay! And the next thing I do is I like to track my habits. I do this every beginning of the month. I create this page where I basically create these boxes, and there's 1 box for every day of the month. So of course September, that's 30 days. And next to it, I write the habit I want to create. And usually, like for this one, I was not so diligent, but usually you like color in the days where you did it. So let me just show you what it's supposed to look like. So last year, September, these were my habits. It was quite a lot. Yeah, and I just colored in every day where I achieved my goal. So as you can see, getting up at 5 a.m. was a bit hard that month, but my skincare, for example, I was really doing really good. I did it every day. And of course, this is not to like completely overwhelm yourself, but it's important to track your habits, because only if you track them, you can improve them. For example, if I hadn't tracked them, maybe I wouldn't even have realized that in this September, I hardly ever got up at 5 a.m., even though it's my goal. So, but this way, because I tracked it, I can adjust next month. So that's why it's beneficial for yourself to just see, am I living up to my own standards? I create this kind of pages every end of the month. So at the end of this September, I would create the pages for October. And that way I'm always like right on track. Then after your monthly page, you have your weekly spread. So for me, it's just a bunch of boxes, and like I have this bigger box where I just write down my daily schedule. So for example, today it's Friday and I tried to get up at 6 in the morning. Then I had a productive time. Then I have to call somebody. I have a team meeting and just write out like the time and the thing I want to do or have to do. And underneath is another box. And this is a box I fill in the evening before I go to bed. And what I do is, this is in German, but I write down 3 successes and 3 things I am thankful for. Because this way you create a lot of momentum, because you realize that every day there are 3 things you did well, even if it's just, I don't know, I made a delicious cup of coffee. It can be really something small in the beginning. And of course, not every day is like super exciting, and not every day you make a lot of money or create a new record for yourself or something. So don't be afraid to write down smaller successes. And of course, thankfulness is super important for your mindset. So I write down 3 things I am thankful for. And finally, after the weekly spread is my favorite thing, which is reviewing your week and creating a preview for the next week. And there's really a bunch of ways to do it. And it's really about finding what's important to you. For example, as I quickly mentioned, in my old calendar, there were already like pre-assigned ways to do it. It suits you. It's like just reflect and write out stuff about last week. Then maybe writing down some of your best moments and what you want to improve. And then for the preview of the next week, you maybe set intentions and just get clear on your priorities for the next week. That's one way to do it. Maybe you come up with your own stuff and be like, yeah, for me it's important to write down at least one thing I learned that week. Or it's important to write one place I visited or one quote I liked. It's really kind of get clear on what's important to you and review on that. That's the most important thing. One more thing I fully recommend for the end of the week is rating your week. It's so much fun. I will teach you how to rate your week. So to have a rating for your week, you need 10 things, like there are like 10 parameters on things that are important to you. For example, for me, it's like happiness, my health, my partner, to experience something new, to learn something new, and so on. Just come up with 10 points that are really important to you. And what you do every week, you rate at the end of the week how successful you were in these things. And you give it a number from 10 to 0, where 10 is the highest and best and 0 is like really low. So for example, I would reflect last week, how happy was I? And how much did I do for my happiness? And then I would think and maybe would realize, 5 days of the week I was like really super happy, but that one day maybe I didn't do this one habit and I kind of was a bit sad and just not as happy. Then I would maybe give myself an 8 or 9, and I would write down the number. And you do this for every point. In the end, you add all the points together and you come up with a percentage of your week. So for example, if all of them were to be a 10, you would have 100% week, which means this week was super successful. You did everything you could to keep yourself happy, to go after your dreams and to do what's important to you. Or maybe, I don't know, if some of the points didn't work out as you planned, and then you have maybe a 70% week, and then you can reflect and think, okay, why was it only 70%? How can I do better next week? It's a lot of fun just to reflect and rate yourself and use it as a indicator of how well you're doing. So love the week review. Okay, then after you reviewed your week, it's time to create a preview for the next week. And do this quite simple. I like to just have a big brain dump and write down everything I want to get done next week. On this page you would write down any meeting you have, any projects you want to work on. Like if you're in school, write down your school dates, like from which day, which time are you in school. Write down if you're meeting any friends. Just write down everything that you already have planned for the next week. And the cool thing is, you just have one massive list in the end, and then you find things that are similar. So for example, if I have 3 meetings next week, then I would try to get all the 3 meetings into one day. Or if I don't know, I want to create a YouTube video and a blog post and content for my Instagram, for example, that's all content creation. And all that content creation would go into one day. So your goal is to keep similar things together, because jumping from one task to the other is where you lose time. So to really maximize your productivity in a day is to do similar tasks. And of course, if you're in school, of course you can't control it, but you can still control what you're doing in the afternoon and evening, and that would make sense to just schedule similar things together. And then when you have everything scheduled and you have found things that are similar, then you put them into your calendar for next week, which I don't have here yet because it's only Friday. It's not here yet, but I can show you how I did it last year. So here, for example, I wrote down what I have planned for the next week. And actually at the beginning it wasn't highlighted, it was just plain black writing. And then I started filling my days. So for example, I was still in university, so I had all my uni stuff, which was the pink one. And when I wrote it in, then I highlighted it here and basically told myself, okay, I already have this put into my calendar, it's done. And you do that until you have all your days filled. And then you have this really basic structure. You just add things like if you have a morning routine, then you add in your morning routine every day, of course. Or if you have an evening routine or have maybe a midday routine, whatever you have, you also write it in. It really makes sense if you have your routines that are similar every day. For example, for me, I have every day my morning routine, and then every day after my morning routine, I have my 3 hours of most productive time. And it stays the same every day. For example, okay, I have 2 days. It's not so representative, but you can see I had my morning routine. Here is at 6 a.m. and then I had the morning routine takes 2 hours until 8 a.m. and then I have my productive time, which goes from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I just wrote down some things I want to do in this productive time. But productive time is one time block that always stays together. Or the morning routine is one time block and it always stays together. And you can have anything that suits you, time block, maybe one block is called socializing time, or one block is called content creation, or one block could be even cooking or doing the household, if that's what you do. Just use blocks that make sense for you and keep them in a similar day. So one day could be the household day, for example, and one day is the study day, or you can even switch it like mornings and evenings or afternoons. So for example, if I would do this, I could, for example, say, okay, on Thursday in the morning is my household day, Thursday afternoon is my content creation day, and Thursday evening is my self-care day or whatever. Just keep these blocks and adjust them as you need and as it fits your calendar. Yeah, and that's about it. That's how I keep myself organized. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as I said, if you liked it, please leave a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you!